In this video, we made our own Pokemon Haunted Mansion where we have to spend 100 days and battle 30 Pokemon ghosts, which we have to defeat to be able to escape the mansion itself. If we, however, lose 7 times, we are done for and we'll be stuck in the mansion forever. So, let's get started. We wake up outside the mansion with a Gengar that introduces itself and tells us that he will join us in our journey, being our first starter Pokemon. Afterwards, he tells us we got loads of Pokeballs, ladies and gentlemen. God, I love them. Then we can go around and actually explore the mansion and the outside area. So we go and get ourselves a few Pokemon. First one we find is a Pumpkaboo, which we decide to capture and then we nickname it Gigaboo. We found Antidote in these books, and Super Potion in these books, and unfortunately, we don't find my self-esteem anywhere in these books. We run into the Zoroark, which we try to capture, but after multiple failed attempts, we say bye-bye, Caroline, and move on to the next one. And so it's time for us to enter the spooky mansion. Ooh. What is actually wrong with me? Inside the mansion, we now have multiple directions we can go in. We check the upstairs, but then we actually find ourselves a Sinistea, which we decide to capture. We capture it and name it Crumpets, because we love crumpets and tea here, don't we? We also run across a very sussy little Misdreavus, which we do capture, and we name it
Sussy Baka.
We enter the courtyard where we find ourselves a Great Ball, and then we run into an Oricorio, which we do decide to capture because it is spicy. We do capture it, and we name it These Nuts. I really am weird. Either way, we run over here and find a pair of books that gives us spooky plates, and then there's a grave that just says ... However, after this, we run upstairs to take on our first ghost boss battle. The ghost throws out one of its Corsolas as the first Pokemon to battle us with, and we go out with Gengar, and we hit it with that dazzling gleam. Ooh, so beautiful. But yeah, we don't end up actually killing it, so we have to switch into These Nuts, and These Nuts are really strong. As we hit them with that Air Slash, baby, let's go! And soon after that, we have another These Nuts, or an Oricorio that pops in, and same thing with this one. We just Air Slash our way through, and we've now taken out the first ghost. We exit the challenge room and head over and find ourselves a Shuppet, which we capture and nickname James. Then we make our way back inside and take on the second ghost, and this time it's a creepy ghost girl, whatever she's doing, and then she's got herself a Frostlass. And I'm gonna be honest, this Frostlass pretty much demolishes most of our team, but we get saved by our Lord and Savior, Sussy Baka. And so, after defeating quite a few ghosts, we decide to actually go and check out the right side of the map. And once we enter here, guess what? We have these really trippy, weird, like you're on acid type of paintings, but also we find ourselves a Mimikyu, and as you guys know, we have to capture it, which we do, and once we caught it, we nickname it Scuffed Chew and replace Crumpets with it, so Crumpets has got to leave us. Meanwhile, Scuffed Chew is now part of the team. We then also find this really weird hallway, which is essentially endless. There is no end to it, there's no ending, you just run in it infinitely, which is really creepy and weird, and there's a lot of Pokemon in there that we do end up defeating, getting a few levels here and there and whatnot, but that's not all. We also find a Honedge, and we do capture it, and we nickname it Scrim, and if you know that reference, then comment it down below. We then head into this lower area of the map, and we end up actually finding a Spiritomb here, which we do capture, but I kind of mess up the name and name it Thitch instead of Thick. So, yeah, my mistake. We now head over to the left side of the map where we actually find a Dracloak. Yes, Dracloak. Gen 8 Pokemon are in this game. It's kind of crazy, but we capture this one. We nickname it Babysitter because, come on, it makes sense, right? Either way, we keep looking around a bit, and then it's time to go and take on the ghosts again. We defeat the 4th ghost pretty easily, but the 5th one is where things go really astray. Now, this guy's got himself an Alolan Marowak, and Alolan Marowak is quite strong if you didn't already know, and it's causing us a lot of problems. Now, going into this battle, we actually forgot to heal up our whole team, so Gengar is already fainted, and we only really have These Nuts as our strongest Pokemon level-wise, and the Marowak is level 35, so that's already a problem. And let's just say that These Nuts get stomped real hard by the Marowak. We get killed, which means we have to use the rest of our team, which I'm gonna be honest, wasn't really that solid just yet. Thitch was already got burn on him, so our team wasn't really ready to handle this, but we do pull in Thitch nonetheless and take on the Marowak. We use Memento as a way to lower his, well, his moves and everything, just to lower his special attack and whatnot, and it actually does kind of help, you could say, as we use James with Shadow Ball, which is just enough to get rid of the Marowak, but we kind of forgot that there is a second Pokemon in this ghost team, which is Lampent, and I'm gonna be honest, we lost at this point. Yes, this was our first loss within this run, which means we have 6 more chances, or else we're stuck in this mansion forever. We go back and take on that Lampent and that Alolan Marowak once again, and we actually do win it this time, so yes, we have more or less defeated that battle now. We then spend more time exploring the actual mansion itself and run into a Poltegeist, which, hey, look at him. We're not going to capture him, though, because we don't really need him, but it looks kind of funny. shiny. Then we have a battle against what is, in my opinion, the Shining Twins, literally. I'm not even kidding. And they just use Mimikyus, which are pretty easy to discard of. So easily we just defeat these lads and then we move on to the next one. We then run outside the mansion and do a little bit of sightseeing and looking around. Then we find a few Zoroarks here or there. We think about actually capturing one for a long time, but we don't end up doing it. Being outside the mansion was actually kind of nice, getting some fresh air, so to say. And then we head back inside for our next ghost battle. Our 9th battle, I would argue, is against one of the weirdest people ever. I mean, look at this guy. He's got no face, okay? My man's got no face. However, he does have a Drifblim, which we're going to be using Gengar against. And also, as you may notice, Gengar is about to hit level 39. So we go in, we pop off with a bit of Nightshade, and of course, also, we did use our lovely Fairy-type move, which does a lot more damage, so Dazzling Gleam is the way to go. Unfortunately, though, Drifblim just decided that stockpiling is the one thing it's going to do, which is quite literally one of the most annoying moves I have ever bear witness to. So, we do take it out eventually. And then we have, of course, Misdreavus up next. We use Dazzling Gleam in this case as well, except it's got Hex. Because, you know what, it just ended up killing our Gengar. So we went into these nuts instead, used the Air Slash, got rid of the Misdreavus, meaning there is one last Pokemon, which is Trevenant, ladies and gentlemen. So, Trevenant is gone, ladies and gentlemen, which means we now only have another 20 battles to go. This random Hatchram just casually gives us PTSD while we're playing, and then we actually run into a Miss Magius, which we do capture, and we name it Ruby the Cherry. And if you know the reference, you do. If you don't, you don't. We then take on Ghost number 10, who just casually looks like somebody maxed out the bevel button on Photoshop. Either way, she has a Mimikyu and a Rotom, which we both dispatch of very quickly. Moving on to the next one. Shining Twins are back, but now they've kind of lost all their color. They're just black and white now for whatever reason. But that's besides the point. They have a Claydol, which we defeat very quickly. Actually, we sweep her whole team, or their team, with just these nuts. Oh, I love these nuts. They're so strong. Seriously, Air Slash is all you need. And then we sweep through all of them, leaving only one Pokemon left, which is Runerages, which we also defeat pretty quickly, meaning this was probably one of the easiest battles we've had so far. We go around exploring once again and find a very aggressive Scraggy, which we deal with. So this ghost battle is against a man who decided to just go upside down. What is he doing? Why is he upside down? I don't know what's going on. What is happening? But he does have a Hatterenia nonetheless, which is quite difficult, to say the least, to deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, this ends up more or less being our second loss. Now, I made the first mistake of using Dazzling Gleam against Hatterini, which I totally forgot. Oh, wait a minute. This thing is actually Fairy-type. Probably not the smartest thing to do. So we go in with Fitch instead, who is able to do not too much either, okay? Just basically nothing. So Scuffchew kind of has to do the final work with the Slash to get rid of it. However, now they decide to pop in a straight-up Grimmsnarl. Yes, and Grimmsnarl goes ahead and actually sweeps our whole team, meaning that, ladies and gentlemen, this is our second loss, which means we only have 5 more tries left, ladies and gentlemen. However, we return, ladies and gentlemen, and we punish that Grimmsnarl for the first time, and we defeat him, which means we only have a few more battles to go. The next battle is against a Samurai that just kind of decided to have a giant hole inside of their body. I don't really know what to say about this one. However, he has an Aegislash, which was actually quite easy to deal with. Now, for whatever reason, I used Dazzling Gleam against it, realizing, wait a minute, this thing is Steel typing. What am I doing? But we realized quickly what our problem was, switched over, defeated Aegislash, and move on to the next one. Now, this next battle against Ghost 17, aka the little Shining Twins again, was actually the reason I decided to catch a Drapion. Now, first of all, they have a Spiritomb, which again, not that big of a deal. However, the Drapion that they had demolished us, okay, and left us at, again, another loss, which is just making these things quite more difficult. But this inspired me to go and get myself a Drapion, which definitely was a worthwhile choice later on. But before we do anything, we actually return and take on this same ghost again, and this time we actually defeat it, taking on then another ghost, and this ghost actually ends up having a Golurk. Ooh, look how tall he is. And then he actually has a Dragapult as well, which we also do end up defeating. Then before we do another battle, we go back and switch out a few Pokemon in our party, putting in a Babysitter into our team and getting rid of little James. And then we go back and take on this random, well, really creepy ghost girl again, who has a different team with a Delmise in there, which we do end up defeating, meaning we're getting one step closer to those final battles. Next, we take on one of the craziest battles ever. Now, this guy's, first of all, just weird. I don't know why his arms are hanging and all that. Nonetheless, he has a Banette, but not just any kind of Banette, a Mega Banette, which one-hit KOs our Gengar, and I'm gonna be honest, this is when things get a little bit worrisome. However, these nuts come out, and we get Sucker Punch, leaving us only at 6 HP, and we go for Air Slash. Now, luckily here with Air Slash, for whatever reason, we end up non-stop making it flinch. So yes, we make it flinch 2 times, and guess what? It goes for a Shadow Ball and actually kills us here, so we have to switch. Actually, we then switch into Ruby the Cherry, our Miss Magius, which does use Magical Leaf, and you can see my excitement is very ecstatic as we manage to defeat this thing without giving ourselves another loss. We then spent some time staring into the dark void of this painting, and what's inside of there? Ooh. Ah. We also catch a new Dracloak, and we name it Cloaky, and then switch out Babysitter for this one, and then we also go get ourselves a Drapion, and this is going to end up being our best Pokemon in the team. We catch a Drapion, and we name it Zero Sugar. Let's go, baby. We name it Zero Sugar, and that's going to be our strongest Pokemon. Then we take on a Ghost that looks like straight up just a shadow of a Pokemon. They have a Cursula, though, which is a sick Pokemon nonetheless. I was super worried in this battle because it does end up taking out these nuts. Now, these nuts, as you may have noticed, are quite strong, but sometimes these nuts can't handle everything, and in this case, I got quite worried because Air Slash wasn't doing enough, and I feel like I was making a mistake here. However, we got lucky with the flinch, but then we missed an attack, and that kind of destroyed us in this case. So, we end up losing that one, but we have a few other Pokemon, and we do end up winning this battle in the end. We then battle the same Ghost again, but this time, this Ghost has a Marshadow instead, which is level 46, which was quite difficult to defeat. I feel like the only thing that saves us in the end is Fitch the Spiritomb with the Sucker Punch, which literally saved us right in the end. We then take on the TV static version of the Shining Twins, who have a Drapion, which, well, we defeat it nonetheless, but then they also have a Obstagoon, which is easy, but the last Pokemon they've got, which is the reason we end up losing this battle, is a Spectrier. Now, the Spectrier ends up demolishing us. We didn't really have anything prepared for against this, so we have to lose this battle. We do a bit of grinding, and we return again. We then end up coming back to this same battle again, and we take out the Drapion and the Obstagoon pretty easily. However, the Spectre ended up being a bit problematic, so we decide to use Toxic on Drapion to get this thing slowly butchered down, right? Just slowly getting its HP down to whittle it out, and that's what we do. We survive on 4 HP on Drapion, and then win the battle. The next battle is actually quite disgraceful. They have a Blacephalon. Now, the first 2 Pokemon was like a Houndoom and whatnot, which were really not that difficult. The Blacephalon, however, with its, I think, Beast Boost, ends up being ridiculously strong. It sweeps our team, meaning we only have 1 chance left. So we go away for a while and actually do tons of grinding, getting Gengar all the way to level 50, and guess what? This time Blacephalon catches the Shadow Ball to the face, and we defeat it. All that remains now is 2 more battles. We've got Battle 28, Ghost 28, who has, again, a giant, hole in his chest, and he only has a Gengar at level 50, which, I'm gonna be honest, you might think is difficult, but we kind of cleared through it because we already had a Zero Sugar Boy here at level 50, as well as loads of other Pokemon that were just really strong. However, he does Mega Evolve it, which is a little bit more difficult and problematic because his Nightshade kind of more or less flinches us, I think, a few times there, which is a bit problematic. However, his HP is far enough down that we can do this now. So we do defeat him, and we move on to the 29th. The 29th Ghost has a, well, straight up Bisharp, which honestly was super easy to defeat. But the last Pokemon here is Calyrex. Yeah, it's a fused Calyrex, and I'm going to be honest, I freaked out here. However, we hit the Calyrex with Revelation Dance, which apparently does ridiculous amounts of damage, and one-hit KOs this thing in 1 try. I mean, it is actually ridiculous, meaning we only have 1 battle left to go. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to enter the room for the 30th battle. And for this battle, we're going to play through the whole thing without any interruptions. And here we go. We're about to take on the 30th battle. And this room looks insane because guess what? We are taking on Giratina. Yes, Giratina is the 30th Ghost and the one that's been keeping us stuck in this place. And we go out first with Fitch, who is at level 49 at this point, so we've done quite a lot of grinding. We kick off by, first of all, going for, I think, Memento. We're kind of wondering if that's the smartest move to do or not, as that would kind of just kill off one of our Pokemon, but would lower the special attack and whatnot on this lad. Instead, we end up going for Hex, which does a little bit of damage, and then we go for Memento, which doesn't hit hits because we are outsped by the Giratina pretty obviously. Clearly I made a mistake here, but it is besides the point. Then we switch over into Zero Sugar, who is honestly our saving grace. Throughout most of the recent battles, Zero Sugar has kind of came through and done most of the work. So this case, we go for Night Slash. Night Slash, however, ends up missing because he avoids it, which is quite problematic. The Shadow Force, however, is kind of a good thing for us because he gets poisoned from that, meaning we have an advantage. Then we go for Night Slash, and it doesn't do that much. It's apparently, you know, super effective, but not really. However, the poison is going to get him right now. So look, the Night Slash doesn't even have to do all the work because the poison is enough, ladies and gentlemen, and we've defeated Giratina, and that means we can now leave. This has been fun. I can't wait to do it over and over and over. Hey, wake up. What are you doing out here?